Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get started. It's 10 o'clock. Om. 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 Ganana Antva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatan Shrunvannutibhissi Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinama Vidyavate Om Ganeshaya Namaha Om Saraswatyai Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Vagishadya Sumanasah Sarvarthanam Upakrame Yam Natva Kritakritya Syuhu Tam Namami Gajananam Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupine Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sadashiva Samarambham Śaṅkara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharya Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhāṣya Krutav Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bedha Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Yasya Sannidhi Matrena Sarve Shishyascha Sevakaha कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम्. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get started with our Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayiniim Ambatvamanusandadami Bhagavad Gīte Bhavadveshiniim. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajwalito Gnanamaya Pradeepaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gītāmrutaduhe Namaha. Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogda Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gītāmrutam Mahat. Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Bhishmadrona Tata Jayadratha Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Krupena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parasharyavacha Saroja Mamalam Gītārtha Gandhotkatam Nānākhyānaka Kesaram Harikatha Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shakpadairaharaha Pepiyamanam Mudam Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradhvamsina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramanandamadavam. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopaniषदैः Gayanti Yam Samagaha ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुराः सुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशम् विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशम् मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गम् लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनम् योगिहृद्यानगम्यम् वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरम् सर्वलोकैकनाथम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. Hari Om everybody. So welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes. Last week, after expressing our deep gratitude to our Pujya Gurudev and the entire Guru Parampara, we started with our Gita Bhāva Dhārā series. In this high-level introduction, we saw how our study of SRIMAD BHAGAVAD Gītā finds its place as one of the Pramana Granthas amongst Prasthanatrayi. We understood that Bhagavad Gītā comes in Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata, composed by Bhagavan Vedavyasa, scribed by Lord Ganesha himself. We also saw a brief on the story of Mahabharata and the Mahabharata war. How the war had become inevitable. And the two armies had assembled in a direct conflict with each other in a place called Kurukshetra. We had seen that all levels of diplomacy had failed, even by Lord Krishna himself. And it is important here to note that it had become a war between Dharma and Adharma. And as we saw last week in our introduction, Bhagavan is always on the side of righteousness, always on the side of protecting Dharma. And he is obviously, for this reason, he is on the side of the Pandavas. So in the middle of this battlefield, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who was the charioteer, Sarathi for Arjuna, gives the Gita Upadesh. So the word Srimad means inspirational. It means beautiful. It means glorious. In the Dhyana Shloka that we just chanted, when we say Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam, Sriman Narayana himself taught this to Arjuna. This ultimate knowledge was given to Arjuna right smack in the middle of that battlefield. Typically, when we study the Upanishads, what do we read? A sincere seeker, he approaches a qualified guru, typically in a very serene atmosphere, most likely in a hermitage on the banks of a river, or maybe up high in the mountains where the guru has his ashram, or maybe even deep in a forest, away from the hustle and bustle of life. Now let us look at this a little more closely. This battle that Arjuna is in, symbolically, we can see that he is in the battle of life. A lot of us, when we read Bhagavad Gita, we say, I can relate to Arjuna because he's Partha, meaning he is the son of Prutu, Mother Earth. That is you and I, and all of the human beings. Therefore, we can identify with this setting where this battlefield of life, where Gita Upadesha is given. As we know, Arjuna is in the middle of this battle of life. He is in a high stress environment, just like you and I can relate to. And if you analyze the characters of Mahabharata, Arjuna was a great warrior. And who was he amongst? He was amongst the people who were very selfish, some even very evil, egotistic, highly competitive. And he is always in a survival mode, constantly put in situations with life and death consequences. He is constantly asked to execute at the highest level of leadership that might either lead to failure or success. Just like any one of us. He was a very ambitious man. Unlike the student of Upanishad, who is a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna, blessed with the 4 Ds of Vedanta, who has examined his life, understood the impermanence of life, and then the Guru Upasakti happens. He approaches the Guru. But here, Arjuna is like you and I. He got dejected at times. He got elated at times. He got angry at times. He got frustrated once in a while. He felt honored sometimes. Sometimes he felt insulted. Just like any of us. That is why this Gitopadesha has that mass appeal. Everybody will say, I can relate to Arjuna, what he is going through. So then, where is the root for this setting? This was what Bhagavan Veda Vyasa, exactly what he had in mind. He wanted to create this using this allegory called the Ratha Kalpana. The Ratha that comes in the first Adhyaya, Valli 3 of the Kathopanishad. That's where it finds its origin. Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi Shariram Rathamevatu. Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi Shariram Rathamevatu. Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi Manah Pragrahamevacha. Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi Manah Pragrahamevacha. This metaphor, this Ratha Kalpana, forms a part of the teaching imparted to Nachiketa, little boy, seeking this knowledge about the life after death by Lord Yamacharya himself, the Hindu god of death. So, in this metaphor, our body is compared to the chariot. Shariram Ratamevatu. Sharira, that is the chariot. Mana, the mind. The mind connects the horses to the chariot. If the reins are loose, then the sense organs run wild. If the reins are tight, responsive, control is possible. So the sense organs are compared to these powerful horses in this metaphor. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Buddhi, the charioteer. Bhagavan Krishna in this case, the intellect, the discriminatory intellect. the decision maker, the faculty of discrimination, bestowed with strong viveka. It decides the direction. It understands the pros and the cons. The intellect applies strong values, meaning a skilled charioteer can safely guide these powerful horses. An untrained charioteer, meaning with an untrained mind, even with a good chariot, where will he end up? He will end up in a ditch. So now the question, is this Mahabharata war? Is it a war within us? Is it a constant battle within us? Symbolically, the 5 Pandavas represent the 5 divine qualities, and the 100 Kauravas represents the evil thoughts, the negative tendencies within us. Meaning, for every divine thought, for every good thought, there are 20 equal and opposite negative thought waiting to do their tricks to prevent the good from happening. Think. However, when there is a crisis situation, the evil thoughts, the negative thoughts representing the Kauravas are on a war path. Despite our weak moments, when we seek the guidance of the Lord in the form of a guru, our spiritual knowledge gives us that strength, gives us that foundation to overcome our false values, overcome our negative tendencies. And Bhagavan Krishna gives us that spiritual knowledge in SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA that strengthens our virtues, that helps us to overcome our negativities, that helps us to overcome our imperfections, our limitations. This in turn will help us gain our inner peace. So next time you see this Gitopadesha that's right behind me, pretty much a common wall hanging in most of the Hindu household, we need to view that a little closely. How Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna, is asking us to lead our life holding the reins of the horse. That means holding the mind under control. The horses stand for the sense organs that are constantly running here and there, the indriyas, and the ratha, the chariot, our body. And Arjuna stands for that jiva, That's you and I. And Bhagavan Krishna stands for that discriminatory intellect who can give us that guidance in our life. This journey can lead us deeper into samsara, which is the perpetual cycle of birth and death, or lead us to moksha, the liberation. The same chariot, same horses, same reins. The difference is only in the charioteer's wisdom and alertness. With wrong notion, with wrong understanding, leads us to bondage. With the right understanding, strong foundational knowledge leads us to our destination, liberation. So this Ratha Kalpana is this famous metaphor, allegory from Kathopanishad. Yastu avignavan bhavati sa samsaram adhigacchati. Yastu vignanavan bhavati satad Vishnoho paramam padam. So the choice is ours to make. So now we say at the end of each chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we say Bhagavad Gītā su Upaniṣadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. So Bhagavad Gita is considered the essential teachings of all of the Upanishads. In the Dhyana Shloka we chanted just now, we said, Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogda Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamrutam Mahat. We say Upanishads give humanity the Atma Vidya, the Brahma Vidya, the essence of self-knowledge. So here, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is compared to this cowboy. Who is milking this cow. If all the Upanishads are considered cows, which contain the Vedic wisdom, but Upanishads are in a cryptic form, scattered across many texts, and Bhagavan Krishna is milking all of it and giving it to us. See, milking the cow, those who have seen it will know, is not easy. It requires a lot of skill and compassion. I'm talking old-fashioned milking. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum That is why we call Bhagavan Krishna as the teacher of teachers, Jagat Guru. So before milking in the cowshed, if you have noticed back home, they bring the calf first and put it in front of the cow. Here, Partho Vatsaha. Partha, again, you and I, through Arjuna, are the beneficiaries here. They bring the calf, then the cow starts to give milk. But not all are ready to consume that milk and digest that milk. I mean, metaphorically, I'm talking, because a lot of us may be lactose intolerant. Meaning, not everybody can digest Upanishads. Sudhir Bhokta. Only one who has got the prepared mind. Sudhihi. Dhi means buddhi, intellect, purified intellect with enhanced viveka. For those, this Bhagavad Gita becomes Amrutam Mahat. This milk becomes the nectar. How beautiful it is. It is nourishing. It sustains life. It grants us strength. It brings clarity in life. So if we were to compare this Upanishads to vast oceans of wisdom, Bhagavad Gita can be considered as that wisdom poured into a cup where we can drink it from. That is why Bhagavad Gita is called as the Margadarshaka Grantha. That is why each chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called as Upanishad. Because each one has a declaration of such deep significance, a hasty reader may miss out on its full impact. Talking of Upanishad and the Upanishadic Mahavakya, as a group, we did the Mahavakya Vichara of Tat Tvam Asi during our study of Viveka Chudamani. That Mahavakya Tattvam Asi from the Chandogya Upanishad of 6th chapter. So Śrīmad Bhagavad Gita can also be broadly divided into 3 sections. Chapter 1 through 6, Tvam Pada Vichara, Jiva, its problems, his sadhana, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Chapters 7 through 12 for Tat Pada Vichara. In Guru Stotram, when we say Tat Padam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. That Tat Pada. Bhagavan's glory is talked about in those chapters. Bhakti sadhanas, creation. Then chapters 13 through 15 through 18 is the Asipada Vichara, bringing in the essential oneness of Jiva and Brahma. Jivatma and Paramatma. So please keep this in mind, reference in mind, as we progress with our study of SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA. Next we also say Bhagavad Gita as Yoga Shastra. Yuj means union. Yoga means uniting with the higher. That Shastra which gives us the practical guidance to attain the truth, to live a fulfilled life. For example, the first chapter that we are going to study is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. His Vishada, Arjuna Shoka, his grief became his prasada, his transformation. So we will see how Bhagavan helped him during this crisis situation. See, during our younger days also, long time ago, as students, we were always afraid of examinations. Oh boy, you know, those dreaded 3-hour exams. Because there is fear. Fear of what? Fear of failure. That is why many readers of Bhagavad Gita can relate to Arjuna. He also had that fear of failure. Because he faced these life situations. He is the seeker here. And Arjuna was a Maharati, a great warrior of his times. He was not an ordinary person. He had mastered all situations of war. He was blessed by all the gods and many weapons of war. He had pleased even Lord Shiva, and he had given him Pashupatastra. He was a very accomplished person. He even knew Gandharva Shastra. He knew music, he knew dance. But when it came to facing this situation, just like all experts, they also have their butterflies in their stomach. So that Partha, that Prutu, son of Prutu, he is representing all of us, Jivas. That is why we say I can relate to Arjuna. He represents all our life situations that are presented. That is why Bhagavad Gita has caught the attention of countless number of people worldwide. Whether someone is an atheist or someone is a saint, whether he's a scholar or a scientist, or all of us commoners. See, Shastra means what? Shasti hitam upadishati. A scripture that is good for all of us, which is in our best interest. The word Srimad means inspirational. It means beautiful. It means glorious. So in the Dhyana Shloka, when we say Ambatvam Anusandadhami, here Bhagavad Gita is compared to Amba, mother. What do mothers do? They love their children so much. Unconditional love. The motherly attribute is unconditional love. Very much needed in any crisis. See, it does not matter how old we get. The moment you think of your own mother, there is that innate sense of security that comes to your mind, that protection. So here, Bhagavad Gita is addressed as Amba, mother. Just like when we say Go Mata, Bharat Mata, Ganga Mata, a beautiful idea of mother's love, concern for all of us, nourishment for all of us. They please mothers, they please all her children, and so does Bhagavad Gita. See, when we sacrifice for the sake of what you love comes naturally. Like our parents, our father, mother, they sacrifice so much for our sake. And when we become parents, we do it naturally for our children. Love and sacrifice, they always go together. And Mahatma Gandhiji also said, Gita is like that mother. She turns away nobody. Anybody who knocks on her door, the door is always wide open. And many have treated Bhagavad Gita as a Pramana Shastra, scriptural authority. Great Āchāryas like Adi Shankaracharya ji, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they have all written commentaries on their schools of thought. Our Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji, known as our modern day Gitacharya, he brought the power of Gita to the masses. Like I said last week, one of the 108 names of our Pujya Gurudev is Gita Gnana Yagna Pracharakaya Namah. He brought Holy Gita. He talked of art of man making, Kindle Life, Manual of Self Unfoldment. All these are masterpieces from him. And many saints, like our Sant Gnaneshwar Maharaj, has written commentaries on Gita, like Gnaneshwari. Somebody like a nuclear scientist like Oppenheimer looked at Bhagavad Gita as a Bhautika Grantha. When he heard the shloka, Divi Surya Sahasrasya, Divi Surya Sahasrasya, Bhaved Yuga Paduttita, Yadi Bhasadrushi Sasyat, Bhasastasya Mahatmanah. He spoke as though he had witnessed the first nuclear test. But for majority of us Hindus, it is a Dharma Shastra. It is worshipped as a religious book during Gita Jayanti, etc. And most Hindus, it is a book of spiritual knowledge. It is Adhyatma Shastra. Many chant Bhagavad Gita as a Parayana. It takes about 3 hours to chant, fairly reasonable speed. But majority don't take time to study the content of Bhagavad Gita and understand the depth of the messages in it. Its teachings are timeless. They are applicable to the entire humanity. It is universal level appeal. So Bhagavad Gita shows us 3 paths. The path of the action called Karma Yoga, the path of devotion called Bhakti Yoga, and the path of knowledge called Jnana Yoga. So far, our key takeaways have been, we saw that there are many Gitas. We looked at the background of Mahabharata war. We looked at Mahabharata as an inner war, a battle within. We looked at Bhagavad Gita as a Upanishad. We looked at Bhagavad Gita as a Yoga Shastra. We looked at Bhagavad Gita as a Dharma Shastra, as a Pramana Shastra, as a Adhyatma Shastra. And we saw its place in the Prasthanatrayi. With that much introduction, I think we should chant our first verse of Bhagavad Gita. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. The first verse of the first chapter. Atha Pratamodhyayah. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Dhrutarashtra Uvacha. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Mamakaः Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. As I had mentioned, the central theme of Mahabharata was Dharma. That's why I highlighted that word Dharma. Dharma is that which upholds the individual values, that which holds the society together. So in this battle, in this inner battle, Kurukshetre, Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre. Kurukshetra is not merely a geographical place. It is this field of human struggle. That's why Kurukshetra is called the Dharmakshetra. Where the field It is the field where righteousness is tested. Chapter 1 may not contain Vedantic teaching directly, but instead it presents a lot of these internal battles. It presents the human conflict, the emotional collapse, crisis management, moral confusion. So this chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga because Arjuna's sorrow itself becomes the doorway to yoga. So what is the key message? The spiritual teaching begins only when egoistic identity collapses. And Dhritarashtra stands for that mind that is born blind to the truth. Gandhari, his wife, could have changed him, but she chose to act blind. So this Kurukshetra, this Dharma Kshetra, represents that spiritual field for the Jiva to evolve. So the first word of Bhagavad Gita that we just chanted is Dharma. And the last word of Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutihi Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. So Bhagavad Gita, the first word is Dharma, the last word is Mama. Mama Dharma, my Dharma. I uphold my Dharma. That's why Bhagavad Gita is a remarkable scripture. Not because it gives one single message, because it reveals itself to different people at different stages of their lives. It is not a text that imposes meaning. It's like a mirror that reflects the inner condition of the reader. So we will stop here. With this setting, let us continue our study next week, same place, same time. Let us do a quick Namasmaranam. Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare Achyutananda Govinda Madhava Achyutananda Govinda Madhava Satchidananda Narayana Hare Satchidananda Narayana Hare Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Tat Sat. May all be happy, may all be healthy, may all see auspiciousness, may none suffer. Om please, peace, peace. With that, I'll open it up for our interactive session. Please stay back if you can. That's where all the action is in the interactive sessions. So stay back and then we'll have a meaningful conversation.